Hello and welcome. I'm Lloyd Grimshaw, and this is the next episode of Behind the Plymouth Brethren, a not-so-exclusive podcast. Today we're going to meet a mother and her son from a Brethren family here in Sydney. They're well known and loved amongst the Brethren community, and they've experienced sadness and loss, but also a lot of joy in their family life. We think they have a beautiful and unique perspective to share with our audience about their faith, the church community, and how it's helped carry them through the tougher times of life. It's my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Joy Hutchison and her youngest son, Roland Hutchinson, to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Joy. Could you please introduce yourself?
Thanks, Lord. I'm Joy Hutchison. I'm 73 years of age, and my much-loved husband passed away at the end of 2009, and I've recently retired from work, where I worked at OneSchool Global.
And you brought one of your 6 children here today, Joy. So welcome to the podcast, Roland. Could you please introduce yourself?
Thanks, Lloyd. My name's Roland Hutchinson. I'm the youngest of 6. I lost my father when I was 19 years of age. I'm married now. We had a beautiful little girl, Gertrude, who passed away at the age of 18 months. Now I've got 2 sons. I work as a sales consultant at a company that provides mobility and rehabilitation equipment. Been there now for 18 years since I left school.
Well, thanks for the introductions. Joy, you were born into the church. Can you tell us a bit about your childhood?
That's right. I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, one older and one younger. I was born and brought up in Beecroft, where we had a big yard and enjoyed lots of outdoor fun. My father served in World War II in New Guinea in the medics, so stories of the war really coloured our lives when we were young. He also had many acquaintances that we used to hear about, some of which were prisoners of war during Second World War. He actually introduced us to them, and we heard their stories as well, often talked about it. Other acquaintances too that would draw out stories out of our father when we were together, which was interesting. We in our house at Beecroft, we even had goats at one stage because we had such a big yard, and I had some puppies, and it was very much a very good family life there. We went on many roadie holidays where we drove around New South Wales and Queensland, Victoria, and that was fun also to be together. However, when I was in my early teens, we moved to Croydon to be closer to my father's mother and brother, and that was excellent. We had a good life there. It was not far from the main church hall, so we had a lot of people in, a lot of people coming and going and entertaining and people staying. And also life down there at Croydon near my young cousins was great. I really enjoyed those days. They were the best days of my young life, really.
That all sounds like a pretty perfect childhood.
Yeah, it was until I was in about my mid-teens and I started to rebel against the church. I was not always a perfect churchgoer, that's for sure.
So what changed your mind and sort of drew you back to the church?
Well, actually, it was the death of a young friend in a violent car accident. I was brought face to face with death. I realised that life on the edge was not for me. I had to be all in. And also I was surrounded by compassion and care and kindness of those in the amongst the community. I felt that life was too short to just live it on the edge, but I had to get right into doing the right thing. And entertaining and looking after other brethren and having people in just became everything to me. And I was surrounded by just happy Christians who were just trying to do what's right, and even though they mightn't have had much, they were happy. And that gave me happiness and peace. And that was a turning point in my life.
So after you graduated from high school, what did you do as a young woman?
Yeah, I went to secretarial college and learnt shorthand and typing and a bit of bookkeeping, not much. And then I went to work on various jobs in the city and went to an insurance company and architects, and then I came to the family business.
So how did you meet your husband?
My husband Ian, he wasn't actually born in the church. His mother passed away when he was young, only 3 or 4, I think, and he was brought up by his godly grandmother, who was one of us. She'd moved from Denmark when she was 12 and came amongst the brethren. Very, very real person and a wonderful influence on us. But we always loved her, and of course I went to school with his sisters as well, so I got to know him that way. But also my young cousins and I, we followed him around, preachings that he was going to, my young cousins and I, and wherever it be, Fairfield, Chatswood, Croydon, Ashfield, and he played the guitar, and he was a beautiful singer, and wherever we went, people would hand him a guitar and say, sing for us. And he sang songs from Neil Diamond and, country songs from John Denver and Glenn Campbell and even the Beatles. And, we just had good time singing and playing with us. And he even travelled as well. He'd been to America and Canada and New Zealand, and then he came back and married the girl next door.
So Ian was a great singer. What about you, Joy? Do you sing as well? Or?
No, I didn't try to sing. In fact, if I did sing around the house, he'd often look around and say, is that a storm brewing?
So you had 6 children together. It must have been a busy life. What was it like to be the youngest of 6, Roland?
Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. I enjoyed it, even though being the youngest. I had 4 brothers and 1 sister. Shout out to my older sister that must at times felt that she was outnumbered and stuck in the middle. Feel sorry for her having to put up with us all. We battled it out in Western Sydney. We grew up in a suburb called Fairfield Heights. Attended primary school in Wentworthville. Both those suburbs are very multicultural areas, and we made a lot of friends who were, Indian, Chinese, African, Eastern European, Middle Eastern. It was a wonderful mix of cultures in those areas. I played for the school football team and the school cricket team, which was probably the highlight of school life. Classroom results probably showed that. But we had a lot of fun as a family. We were entertaining church members in our house. We loved travelling. Holiday time was always good times, good fun, whether it be Christmas or Easter breaks. We loved travelling. Didn't matter whether we were going to the South Coast or North Coast. Interstate was so enjoyable. Like the further the trip, the more enjoyable it was.
So what was the best part about having so many older brothers?
Yeah, I loved the weekends. I was probably the annoying youngest brother, but I always enjoyed having a lot of older brothers that I could tag along with on a Saturday. We used to love, going to a game of rugby in the afternoon on Saturday, whether it be suburban or grassroots or schoolboys rugby. It was all enjoyable. Keep an eye on the Wallabies on the national team. I do remember when the Wallabies last won the World Cup in '99, and when we last won the Bledisloe Cup against the Kiwis in the early 2000s. It's been a long, lean run for the Wallabies, but one day we'll get success again. Hopefully that's not too far away. But yeah, that was, we used to love the rugby on Saturdays.
Yeah, very good. And Joy, it sounds like a very busy household full of fun, but you still had 4 children at home when your husband passed.
Yep, that's right. I was thankful I did, of course. And I had lots of support from many people around, like all my friends and relatives turned up, and others on the day. I had 2 married children as well, and I had 6 grandchildren. We also had people staying in the house because we were entertaining for a church function. But Ian was sudden. It was a very sudden death, very unexpected. He died doing what he loved most, caring for others and enjoying them and having a good time.
Oh, such a shock for that loss. What helped you through that?
Well, I relied on my link with the Lord. I realised that he did it so he would get me through, and he did. He did. And also the kindness of the church community. they were just there, right there when I needed it. Everybody was so caring and supportive, and whether it be taking me to sort out things at the bank, or taking me for walks, or organising my cupboards so that they were a little easier to care for as time went on. I had so much to be thankful for in the community. I really did.
And what about the emotional support?
Well, to be honest, I had a little thing that I wanted to be strong in front of other people. I felt that it was my sorrow. I didn't think that I should make other people sad for what I was going through. So I always tried to be strong when I was with others, basically for my children as well. But of course, I wasn't always, and many times I was overwhelmed and had to break down. But so there was always someone that could help me. There was always someone who said a kind word that was just what I needed. Like, it's going to get better, or you're not alone, or there was always somebody that helped me. And I'm very thankful for that. Very, very thankful for the community, for the support that I received during that time. Also, people outside the community, even neighbours and other acquaintances that we had, everybody was very supportive. And I know one woman in a shop, she broke down when I told her what had happened. And it was so comforting to think that other people felt your sorrow. Very thankful for it all.
And Roland, you recently suffered another unexpected and devastating loss. Can you tell us about your little girl?
Yeah, we lost our baby girl Gertrude in her sleep at the age of 18 months. It was a massive shock. It was totally unexpected. She was a well child. There was no health concerns. She was a beautiful little girl. She learnt to walk and started to put her first words together. She had a beautiful personality. It was just something you just don't expect, and it was hope that it'd never happen.
And what helped you cope with that loss?
Yeah, it was the kindness and generosity that was shown to us. Within hours of hearing of Gertrude's passing, and then the days and the weeks and the months afterwards, the thousands of messages and phone calls and emails and gifts that we received from church members universally was overwhelming. The care and support and the love that was shown was so amazing. It helped us immensely through that tough period, traumatic period. We got it. I guess we probably got a sense of peace knowing that we weren't alone in the sorrow. There was plenty of other church members that have been through similar experiences of losing loved ones, and they were always supportive, and they still are supportive. And it's probably one of the best things about being part of the community is that there's always someone you can turn to in the hour of need when you're feeling down, when you're feeling blue. You can always talk to someone. So not only in our community, but outside the community, our neighbours especially, but were caring and supportive. Our neighbours, we just live in a little cul-de-sac, and there's quite a sense of community there, and they've always been a supportive neighbourhood, especially when Gertrude passed. They were very considerate and very kind and very generous, which was overwhelming.
So you got quite a bit of support from the wider community through that whole period?
Yeah, we did, which I'm thankful for. My work colleagues and customers and clients in particular were kind and caring. The customers that had heard about Gertrude's passing sent us well wishes and sent us gifts, which was very generous and kind. In the jobs that I'm part of, I have a lot to do with the elderly and the disabled, including young children. That it gives you a sense of compassion and admiration for the disabled and their carers, what they've achieved. And you can become well acquainted with different clients, with all your clients. I've one client in particular, lovely old lady that took an interest in my life after a few visits with her. And she kept up with the fact that I was married and had children and lost a child. And, I think 2 or 3 Christmases ago, she gave me a bag full of Christmas presents. It was a big shopping bag. It was massive and full of Christmas gifts and goodies for us and the family. It was so generous and kind and practical.
So I guess you enjoyed them with your 2 little boys, is it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's right. 2 little boys there, they're a joy. our eldest boy, who's nearly 4, he's a little bit more outgoing and social than our younger boy. He enjoys entertaining, enjoys having people come to the house, enjoys going out. His main interests currently revolve around anything to do with animals. He just loves animals, loves finding out about their habitats. Sort of thinks things like snakes are fun to watch, which is not so great. He also loves construction sites. He seems to be developing an interest in cricket and rugby, which makes life fun. Our younger boy is a little bit more shy and reserved. He's more than happy to do his own thing. He loves just being outdoors and plodding around outside. But both boys have different personalities. They're both a lot bigger than what Gertrude was, but they're great company. They're great to have around.
So now you're a father yourself. Do you try and emulate your own dad and the example he set for you?
Yeah, good question, Lloyd. As Mum said, Dad was born outside the church, joined as an 8-year-old. He lost his mum when he was young. I think he was about 3. And then his father left him and his 2 sisters to the care of their grandmother. He had a tough early life. It was difficult, but he enjoyed his life. He valued his family, he valued his connections that he'd made. I don't think he ever looked back and had any regrets about his early life. We never had much money to come and go on as kids growing up, but Dad always taught us that you didn't need money to be happy. He also taught us to try and meet people and value connections, value people's stories, try and learn about persons and their backgrounds and, find out about their stories. That's what I'd love to instill into my boys.
Well, thank you. That's all we've got time for today, but we do want to come back for another episode because we've got more to hear from your story. And thanks to all that have joined us today to listen and watch. Really appreciate your company. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you really liked it, please give us a 5-star rating.